Okay guys, so today we're going to be creating a 2D character rig in Cinema 4D using arcade chains. And basically what we're going to be doing is creating a puppet. This is the character that we're going to be animating. It's in a PNG format. At this point I don't think it has been defined what format you're going to get your characters in, but regardless of the format, I'm going to show you what you need to do to have them ready to bring into Cinema 4D so we can rig it and animate it. So here in Illustrator I have the character already vectorized. It's separated into pieces like body parts. Here's the upper arm, lower arm, hands, and so forth. You don't need to worry about vectorizing all the internal details. We can do that later. But at this point what we need to do is to get the silhouette of each body part. So basically what we need to do is to get something that looks kind of like that. It should be very close or exactly the same shape of this silhouette right here. If you notice, there are some little things going on inside of the silhouette. It's very important that you clean that up, otherwise it's gonna mess up your Cinema 4D file. So let's just do that really quickly. So we can just erase that. But yeah, you'll see why that brings problems later. This is not very clean here. It looks like we have a stroke. So let's select this, turn off the stroke, and yeah, just make this a little bit better. And that's better. Okay, so that's all we need for that silhouette. That should work fine. It's nice if you have as few points as possible, otherwise it's going to clutter your scene, but just do what you can. And then we need to repeat the process throughout the entire character. Here I've done the process already, so you can see it's all blocked off into separate body parts. And so once you have it like this, all you need to do is to go to File, Save As. You can call it whatever you want. Select Tutorials is fine. And then put it on the desktop, save. And this is important. When you save, the version should be Illustrator 8. And then just hit OK. And that's all you need to do. Now that file is ready to bring into Cinema 4D. But before we go to Cinema 4D, we need to do something else in Photoshop. So let's get the textures ready for Photoshop. So let's say we're gonna do the face. So let's turn everything else off. And for some reason, I'll show you why, but it's best to have this saved in Photoshop, the textures I mean. And so, you know, if I have this in Illustrator or independently of the format where you have it, we just need to have the texture separated by pieces as well. So I'm just gonna export this. Export this as a PNG. I'm just gonna call it face. Save it in the desktop. Click OK. And then I'm just gonna open this in Photoshop, and that's all you need right there. Also, it's good, and I'll show you why later, to just have the background the same color as this. So something like that is what you need to save. Then you just File, Save, and all we need is a Photoshop file. I'm just going to put it on the desktop. And that's what you need to do with each one of the body parts. So at the end of the day, we just need this file with all the silhouettes of each one of the body parts, and then we need not a PNG but a PSD file with each one of the body parts for the textures. Okay, so now we're ready to go. I'm just going to put that PSD file there. We can minimize this. just open your Cinema 4D, and it's as simple as just dragging and dropping your file. That's just fine. Just click OK, and there it is. For some reason, sometimes when it brings it, it puts it in some weird place. We're gonna fix that. It might be helpful to you if you have never used Cinema 4D that I tell you how to navigate. Okay, so if you click Alt and left click, then you can move like this. If you click Alt and middle click, then you can pan like this. If you click Alt and right click, then you can zoom out and zoom in. You can also do that with the scrolling the middle button. And so if you want to move this, you can just click on this. This is basically like a folder. So no object, but it's also like a folder, and these are all the paths that you brought from Illustrator. So if you click this, you select the whole thing, and then you can just pull it up, and this is the center of your project, and that should do the trick. It's about fine right there. Alright, so the next step, it's to make sure that all of the paths that you brought are clean, that everything is working. Sometimes when you bring stuff from Illustrator, you'll get some like weird stuff that shouldn't be there. So let's see if everything, like this is a good example. There's nothing there, so you can also delete that path. So let's just go and make sure that everything is there. Foot, upper leg, neck, face, hat. Let's just erase the hat. Let's not do it for this tutorial. And also get rid of the sword. Okay, so no weird stuff. Everything is clean. So unfortunately, when you bring stuff from Illustrator, it doesn't bring the names of each of the path. So you're gonna have to do that on your own. So we have been working on the head. Let's call this face. And so now what we need to do is to extrude each one of these body parts. Let's see, let's do a few parts. This is the torso. You can just click and drag these to place them in the right place, and then if you double click, you can rename it to torso in this case. We have one arm. So left upper arm. Oh, left upper arm. I'm just going to do a few of this. Left lower arm. And the hand. Left hand. Okay, so the way to extrude the path is like this. Just click right here and then click on extrude, and then you can just bring this on top of the path that you want to extrude, then click on the path and drag it inside of the extrude, and that's all you need to do. You see how beautiful that is? If the path is clean, then this is going to be perfect. There's not going to be any weird stuff happening here in the front. You're just going to get some lines over here. This is a little too thick, so I think my default's to 20 centimeters. That's too much. So if you just click here, you can change the depth. I've been doing 10 centimeters, so we should do the same, just so it's consistent. And so we can do the same for the other parts. So extrude. What I'm going to do is just click on this one, change it to 10, and then if you hit command or control, no command, and then drag, then you can duplicate it several times, and that way you don't have to change the depth every time. And then you can just bring this down here. Oh, not there. Right there. And then bring your torso. And that's looking good. There it is. Oh, jumped one. the neck as well. So this is the neck. Let's bring it up. Call it neck. Oh, no, back. Neck. And here's the extrude. Just put it there. And neck. Okay, so now you see everything's exactly on the same plane, and this can create some problems later when we bring the textures in. So what you want to do is, for example, here the neck should be a little bit farther back. So just click on the neck and then just pull it back a little bit. Oh, I selected more than I should have. Just bring it back a little bit, not too much. Okay, so this is a good example. For some reason, this is all the way down here. So if you need to move this control, you can just click this button, just bring it up, put it where it's supposed to be, a little bit more to the center. Now you can place it a little bit better. Oh, and then you need to turn it off, otherwise you won't be able to move stuff. So yeah, the neck should be a little bit farther back from the head and from the torso. Also, the arm. I think we should bring this arm a little bit farther to the front. Not too much, just a little bit. Maybe this one. Okay, so this is happening again. So let's click here, bring it to the right place, and we're going to be moving these anchor points a little bit more later. So bring this a little bit farther to the front, and then the hand is okay to be a little bit on the back, but let's bring it also. This is annoying. Yeah, we want the hand to be a little bit farther in front of the torso and the leg, but still behind the arm. And you'll see why once we apply the textures. But basically this is what you need to do with the entire character. So here I already had the character like that. If you see, I had some problems with the path here and here. This is not what it's supposed to look like. So what would you need to do is go back into Illustrator and clean up your path to make sure that this is not happening here. I only had in these two pieces. I'm not gonna fix it right now just because it takes a while to do it, and I just need to explain how everything works. But basically that's what you do. That's how you fix it. Just go into Illustrator, fix the path, clean it up a little bit more, and then bring it back into Cinema 4D. But this is basically what it needs to look like. Okay, so just remember, extrude each one of your paths, move them into space as needed. Also remember to rename them just so you don't get lost. This is going to be very helpful in the future to be able to find things where they're supposed to be. And now you're almost ready to apply textures, or let's go ahead and do that now. Let's apply textures. So let's go back into the file that we were creating together. Let's assume that everything is extruded. One thing important to remember is these controls. So this is the move control, the scale. Now you can change the scales of things, and the rotate. This is how you rotate things. And then you can see the shortcuts right there as you hover. So shortcut for move is E, T, and R. I'm going to be using the shortcuts, but I just wanted you to know that that exists right there. And then also if you middle click anywhere in the window, then you can see the different views. We're going to need the front view. That's going to be helpful. So you just middle click again, and there is your guy from the front, which is probably how we're going to see it in the game. Just going to go back for now. Okay, so let's apply some textures. Let's go back to that. Let's go back to that Photoshop guy. I'm gonna turn this off just to show you why we did that. I'm gonna save it, close it. There's the guy. So in this section, if you double click, then you'll create a new material. and then you get all the controls here. What we're going to do is apply that texture that we created to this material. The way to do that is go to Basic, turn off Color, turn off Reflectance, just click on Luminance. You can click on this tab to just see the new luminance controls. Now you go to Texture, click on that button, go to Load Image, and then look for the file that you created. It's probably helpful to have all of your textures in one folder. Right now I just have it on the desktop. Remember, you need the PSD one. So click on that one, click Open, and there's your guy. And the way to apply the texture, you can just click and drag right there. And there's the texture. It's out of place. We need to change the mapping as well, the projection. Let's do a flat projection. It's going to be really big, so we need to fix that, and that's when we can use these controls to make sure that the projection is correct. So to be able to fix the correction, you need to click on this button, which is called Texture, and then you can move it around however you need. I found that to scale the projection proportionally, if you click this, it's the best way to do it. So you can click here on scale, or just click T, and then if you scale from here, it's going to do it proportionally. That can be helpful. And then just move it and find the right place for it. It looks like it got stretched to the sides a little bit. Okay, and now you see it's getting really difficult to find the right spot for the outlines. Just need to tweak it a little bit more, but it's really hard to get it exact, and that's why we had the background to be black in the Photoshop file. So let me get a little bit closer to what we want. We also don't want it leaking too much in the sides. But you see, like, there's always like a little bit of a border, a white border there. So now let me just click out of this. Now the advantage of using Photoshop for the textures is that you can click here again, and then again, if you click on the texture, you can go back and see the controls. If you click on the face right here, before you do that, you need to go to Photoshop. You can edit whatever you need to edit here. In this case, I'm just going to add, my mouse is jumping all over. Turn that off, save the Photoshop file, and minimize it. And now here, there it is. Here you can just reload, and now you see we don't have any more white weird stuff. It actually looks kind of cool when you move around. The stroke seems to be moving a little bit, and that's what we want to do with the entire body. That's how you apply textures. So go ahead and do that. Okay, so once you apply all the textures, the next step would be to move the anchor points to the right place, and that's where the front view is going to be helpful. Also, you know, right now you can only see the outlines. If you want to see the whole thing, just click here on display, and then you can choose whatever mode it's more convenient for you to see your stuff. Actually, I think this is not bad, because that way you can see where your different shapes overlap. And so if you remember, the way to move your anchor points, here's the head. The anchor point's right in the right place, but usually it's gonna be like right here. Just remember, just click this button and move the anchor point to wherever it's supposed to be. And you do that with each one of the pieces, like this one. Same thing, it would be somewhere in the shoulder over there, and the hand's over here. So maybe you'll be right about here. And just do that throughout the entire body. I'm gonna go back to perspective mode, and I'm gonna go back to the file that I created, so I don't have to go through that whole process and you get bored and try to kill yourself because you are so bored of hearing me. So let's see. Have a guy right here which is already textured. The anchor points are in the right place, and the process for all of this I already told you, so you should be able to get here on your own. So the next thing would be to make this shapes editable, and I'll show you how to do that. What you might want to do in case you mess something up is to make sure to save a copy. The way to do that, I'll go back to this one so I can show you. So remember, all of this is inside of a folder or a null object. So what you might want to do, just select that, command click, drag it, and then you have a duplicate. Just rename it to whatever reference or whatever, and then you can start doing whatever you need in this side. And that way, if you ever need to go back to this one, you can do it if you have to. I have already done that for my file. So we have all these extrudes here, and we're going to turn them into editable by clicking all of them, and then just click this button, and you see how the icons change. This used to be the head. I'm just going to erase that. And now what we need to do, see, when you turn them into editable objects, then it separates the cap from, I guess, the outline that was extruded. So we need to combine those. The way to do that, just click the face and its children, then right click, combine and delete. What is it? I lost it. Connect and delete. There you go. Right click, connect and delete. Connect and delete, and just do that through the whole thing. Let's see. And if you see, it's creating all this extra stuff that we don't need. We're going to clean that up in a minute. We just need to make sure we just keep the right textures, and it's just duplicating textures. Hopefully I'm telling you everything you need to know, and I'm not leaving any gaps. But just remember, this is the first time I'm making a tutorial, so bear with me. Okay, so let's see which ones we don't need. So basically we can just erase. Okay, so we need that one. We don't need this one. Also here, oh, that's the one we need. So the first and the third are the ones that we can delete. First, third. And the way you know if you're doing it right is because the textures are still there. And then, was it the last one? Yep. Can erase all the last ones. And what else do we have here? Is it this one? Yep. Okay, that's nice and clean. That's all we need. Oh, okay, for some reason, oh, I don't know why this is gray, but you know, in order to fix that, you can just create new material. Actually, I already did it. So this matte material, I just created a new one. I did the same things. I just went into luminance, but I turned all the colors black. So just to make sure that there are no gray spaces anywhere, I'm just gonna drag this over here to the neck. Just make sure it's in front. Otherwise, it's gonna make everything black. And then you can just command click and drag to copy it everywhere. Oh. And thus just make sure that everything there is not texture is black. There you go. That's what we want. And now what? Now it's time to start arranging our character into the rigging. And the way to do that, let's see, we want things to be in the right hierarchical order. So the neck is going to be connected to the torso, the face is going to be connected to the neck, and then the hand will be connected to the lower arm to the upper arm to the torso, and then so forth. Let's see, the right foot to the lower leg, upper leg, and that's connected to the torso as well. There we go. Now everything is right. And the next step is to apply the IK chains. So let's work with the left foot. Let's see. So right now, if we select the foot, okay, we're going to prevent something. Sometimes the IK chains can give you problems if the chains are a little too straight. So just to make sure to give it a hint to where the leg's supposed to bend, we're just going to select this guy right here and rotate it a little bit. Oh, I forgot the protection tags. Okay, before we get into this, we need to add some protection tags. That way we limit the movement that we can give to all of these shapes, because right now we can move them in C space and we don't want to do that. Like right now, if I wanted to, I could do that, and we don't want to do that. We only want to rotate in this axis. So if you click in tags, Cinema 4D tags, and then protection tags, that's what that looks like. And if I remember right, we just want to do it like this. Okay, so actually no, we wanted to move in X and Y and rotate only in B. And that way, that's the way we want it. And then we can just copy this. Oh. And have that everywhere. I don't know why it's put it that side. Also, it looks like I have some extra textures here that I shouldn't have. Let's see what's going on here. What is this? Erase that. Yeah, I don't know why I had that extra texture there. But anyway, with those protection tags, now we don't have to worry about rotating things in the wrong direction. And now we're ready to apply our IK chains. And what that does is it helps us so we don't have to go into each individual thing and rotate like that, because I mean we can animate like that, but it's a real pain. Instead of doing that, first of all, let's give a hint to the IK chain to where things should rotate, in what direction. And then, so this is the left leg. We're going to click on the left foot, then on the left leg, and then we go to character, commands, create IK chain. And now, when we have this, things move a lot more smoothly. And you could do this for each one of the limbs. And once you do that, you're ready to animate. And this is where you can test, maybe it didn't make sense for this to be on top, maybe this should be on the back, just because the textures are clashing right there. But this is basically it. Once you get it to this point, just apply the IK chains to all the arms and the legs. Let's do another one. Let's do the other leg. So the right leg, where's the leg? Right foot, character, commands, apply IK chain. Now we can move that too. And the cool thing about this is that now we can grab this, the torso, and you see how it moves. Now it's dancing. And this is how you get things ready to animate. So hopefully this is going to be helpful, and I'm sure there are going to be more questions, so let's get together and work on this together. And this is the end of the tutorial. We'll see you later.